Court documents just released accusing Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson of acting inappropriately with a licensed massage therapist in her home during a session. The lawsuit accuses Watson of a civil assault, saying, quote, Watson intentionally or knowingly caused physical contact. The news of the lawsuit first came late last night online, attorney Tony Buzbee posting to social media about it. In turn, Watson responded on Twitter, quickly rejecting a, quote, baseless six-figure settlement demand. Watson went on to say, quote, he has never treated any woman with anything other than the utmost respect. Texans releasing a statement saying, in part, we take accusations of this nature that involve anyone within the organization seriously. There are no criminal charges against Watson. This is a civil case only.